So I'm going to show you how to make a throw pillow out of this Walking Dead fabric that I picked up from Joann's about a year ago. So you're going to need a marker, some scissors, and a ruler. And then I'm using the stuffing from the inside of a teddy bear that I used for something else. So the first thing I did was I laid the fabric folded so that they would be doubled on top of each other, so that way when I cut, I'm getting both sides in one cut versus having to cut it twice. I'm measuring out my throw pillow. You can do whatever size that you want. I didn't want it to be too big, so I think I did it was like 18 by 23, roughly, and I just gave a little bit more room just in case. I sewed it a little wonky. I'm still pretty new to sewing in terms of sewing with the sewing machine. I've always hand sewed, so I'm still kind of learning. But the next thing I did was I cut out the fabric. So when you cut it, it's going to obviously be two pieces. The next thing I did was laid it flat so that I could pin it. I would suggest maybe ironing the fabric before you pin it if your fabric's a little bit wrinkly, because mine was from sitting in a drawer for about a year. So it's a little wrinkly and I probably should have ironed it to get it a little more flat so as to make it easier to pin. But you're going to pin 3 of the sides and you're going to leave the top side open. That way when we sew it, we sew the 3 sides together and leave the top in order to flip it and then stuff it. And then I did a simple straight stitch down the 3 sides, and you can use whatever thread that you want to match whatever color fabric that you're using. My top thread is a white and my bottom thread is a red because my sewing machine had already sort of been threaded to those colors to begin with, and I thought it would be cool to have the white with the red since the main part of the pillow is white and then it has the splatters of red for the logo and the blood splatter. And then the next thing I did was flip it right side out, so that way it wasn't that dingy looking color. It would be the white that you would want it once the pillow is sitting on your couch. And then the next thing I did was I stuffed it. You can put as much stuffing or as little stuffing in as you want. I would suggest using a polyfill versus the stuffing that I took from the teddy bear because it's a little bit rougher than if you get like a bag of polyfill. So the pillow is kind of lumpy. It just looks a little bit lumpy when you touch it and mess around with it. And then once you have your pillow stuffed the way that you like it, you're going to fold in the top a little bit so that way we can sew it together and it's going to have a nice clean seam to it. And what I'm doing now is I've had it folded over and I am just sewing off the end so that way when you're using the pillow, obviously that the stuffing isn't going to fall out from the top hole. And here is the final project. It was super easy, super simple. I had the fabric laying around and I felt like sewing something. So I was like, why not sew a pillow? If you like this, thumbs it up and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye!